Good evening, race fans. Welcome to CRN's live coverage of the Core O'Reilly series presented by SimRaces.com. We're here watching the second half now of the LCQ. 30 laps here for the drivers, and that'll set up our 120 lap feature here tonight, as everyone here in the LCQ, as well as the top 20 and qualifying, will make the feature. So nobody getting sent home here tonight. These drivers right here just setting the final 5 rows of the field. They had one early caution here in the LCQ. A little bit of a slide sideways by Ryan Chronister, and Brett Hollis really nowhere to go. So they went to the back of the field here, trying to work their way back through. But it's pretty good racing here in the LCQ, getting ready for the big one here tonight. Carl Hamworth joined in the booth by Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, we're in a little bit of a light spot here for CRN, just a couple nights a week here. I mean, it's not like us. We're normally packed 5 nights a week here. We got tonight, we got tomorrow night. That's it for us.
Yeah, a little bit of a break. It's obviously, it's good. Got to get out there. Got to get recharged on batteries. As the drivers, they might be in one league race. We're out here, 5 nights a week, and sometimes 2 races a night. That's a lot of racing. Not physically driving, but calling the shots here, putting on a show for everybody out there, and we enjoy doing it. But it is nice to get a small break. It just get that little bit of relaxation here going before we ramp it back up before the end of the holidays. I'm sure Sunday nights will fire off soon. I've just seen some kind of not a schedule, but kind of a breakdown of how the races are going to work, the rules for 191 for the upcoming season. They're still in the process of seeing what car they would like to drive, and it's going to be a sad day when the Gen 6s might get sidelined just for at least a season, and then see how things work with another car. And but it'll be great to be back with all the fans over there at 191, of course. But this thing here is almost done, this LCQ, and I'm a big fan of the LCQ here for the Xfinity Series. It gives the drivers that maybe don't have the experience at this track a little more time out there with drivers around the same speed, and this is essentially the back of the pack, and that's because they messed up qualifying, or what it might be. But a bunch of silver drivers back here, one gold driver there, Michael Rakes. I think he's just chilling and knowing that he's going to advance here, so maybe just getting a few laps in, get that rhythm, and it could be beneficial there for a few of these drivers like Bierman and Rakes. So we've seen it before. People get into the LCQ and come out and drive up to the field and contend for those top 5 spots. So we'll see if Bierman and Rakes can do that here tonight and getting a little bit of extra practice in here, finishing this thing up. We got 26 laps in here. We're on lap 26, so just a few more laps and they will have this thing finished up. It's led by Zane Bierman at the moment, Michael Rakes, Dalen Drummond, Jeremy Gainey, and Louis Arduna out here tonight. Terry Jansen back there, is always battling with Orduna, and they're at it again here. They were side by side there for a little while, but right now, this one might not count for points, but Orduna having the best of Terry here early on some pre-race practice, I guess you want to call it that.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing though, Jimmy, I mean, only 10 cars out here on the track. But you see the track map. It is spread out almost around probably about maybe 2/3 of the track right now. This is only 1/3 of the cars that we're going to have in the feature. We're going to have 30 cars out there in the feature. This track is going to get mighty congested.
Yeah, so 30 cars on Richmond is quite a bit. Carl might not consider it a short track.
Oh, it's a short track. It's under a mile. It's under a mile, okay, so it's okay. It's those ones that are exactly a mileage. You convince me otherwise. But now, anything under a mile, I'm with you.
But if I have to run around this here for my Navy PT exam twice, it's a short track, of course. But it's out there here, and it's got nice banking, I guess. I've driven worse tracks. This one here is not the worst of all tracks. There is some different lines that they can run, and you've seen them go too wide. And the thing is this the driver's not overdriving the car, Carl. They get in there and they drive it too hard and then the car gets tight and they're still on the brakes and trying to turn at the same time. That doesn't work like that. You need to get off the gas, trail brake lightly, get that nose to turn down, and the more you're off the brakes, the more your car will actually turn. You just got to set that weight to the front with a little bit of trail braking, get that car to do what it needs to do. But we are done here with the last chance qualifiers. Zane Bierman will win this one here, so put that in his pocket for now. What will he do with it here for the main event? But the main event all done. The feature is now up for grabs, and it does look like Aaron Edwards and Matthew Seeger will go ahead and take that front row. I'll go ahead and let the overlay do its talking there for everybody. You can see where everybody stands. So look for your favorite driver as the grid goes through the screen. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one here. 120 laps, and yeah, Carl, let's see where they can finish and how well they do here, as it can be tricky. We've seen they just got to be easy with that throttle.
Yeah, seeing a little bit light on the field, or lighter on the field last week at Sonoma, as we didn't have our typical 30 plus out there, and I guess kind of understandably we talked about how difficult Sonoma can be out there in California, but we still did have 25. Even if we did have 30 plus, there wouldn't have been an LCQ. No LCQs for the road course sections here. Same thing with the actually, no, I think we do have them for the Super Speedway. Because either way, here tonight, again, everybody qualifying, making the feature here through either qualifying or through the LCQ. And you see the 20 drivers that made it through qualifying, and now the rest of the 10 that made their spots via the LCQ, getting through there. All 30 cars lined up, ready to go. And looks like some stalling here and there, but they will pull these things out of the pits. We'll get this thing ready to go. Looks like all 30 will join the field. I thought I'd seen one or two missing the grid, but now the field will catch back up. We'll grid it up here, but you see the man that was kind of calling his shots from last week is the man that is on the pole here tonight, and that is Aaron Edwards out front here, and looking for a little hometown cooking here and trying to get himself a win. We've seen Eli Carter break through last week, get his first win on the season. But Aaron Edwards is the one that's on top of the boards here. 3 wins, 7 out of 7 starts, finished in the top 5. And it's this reason he's got a 38-point lead over Ethan Winters, Joey Cruz in third, Jacob Grube leading the gold, silver being led by Jason Lepan, and bronze being led by Terry Jansen. But we're going to see who's going to lead the laps here tonight at Richmond. Pace car is in. It's time for 120 laps around this 3/4 mile tri-oval. As the green flag is out, we're racing here at Richmond.
And away they go here down to turn number 1, side by side, as we always see the sim shop guys do. But 2x2, I'll actually all the way back to the field. This looks good here, as I'm flying high on the Goodyear, trying to get a bird's eye view. However, about 3 wide in the back as they slow up there just a little bit. Not quite sure who that was, but it does look like Luis Orduna is going to get collected there along with Richard Bradshaw.
Yeah, see the 3 turns sideways there. We'll take a look and see if we can pinpoint what happened on this one. You see we're doing a little bit loose coming out of turn number 2, and then just came down a little bit off of Hollis. Slides up, smacks the outside wall, and you're seeing Hollis still sideways. And you see Richie Bradshaw get collected there as well. Take a look at that here one more time. As you see Bradshaw hit in the back of the pack here, but unfortunately he's going to walk away with the meatball. And he tries to go high, but that's exactly where Orduna was. And heavy impact right there into the 3. So Bradshaw's going to tow it back to pit lane. And we'll be under our first caution here early. And we'll get all the goodies up here. That'd kind of be nice if we get to see everything that we want to see up there. There we go. But, I mean, you see, even under caution here, Jimmy, I know they're single filed out right now. Once they double up, it'll be a little bit tighter. But, I mean, 30 cars here at Richmond stretches out a good amount.
It does. I mean, it's a pretty decent track here, and we got there's a lot of skill difference between the first and the back of the field, and so we're gonna see that. I was just talking to Carl how these cars are the same. You got no matter the manufacturer, they all handle the same. It's just the driver in the car, and it's really amazing how somebody might do a 36-second lap, and then somebody else does a 40. I mean, it's just depending on where you're in that field, how you took the corner, if you're trying to check up for somebody. It just the big difference here throughout the field. But we'll see what everybody can do. It does look like the pace laps are about 51 seconds or so, and that should be enough time for a driver obviously to come in, get service, maybe a little bit of repairs, and then come back out if they need it. But we're back to no fast repairs this week. They got a little bit lucky last week, no cautions, and one fast repair. Tonight, back to no fast repairs. So you gotta let your pit crew do all the fixing.
All the heavy lifting.
And the heavy lifting, and they have to go out here and they have to do some pace laps here when they get an incident happens. But already on lap number 5, Carl, as they're coming around towards the backstretch, getting ready to go green this time and they're too wide.
Yeah, taking a look at the weather here too. I mean, the track temperature 84, maybe a little bit on the cooler side, so hopefully should help these cars a little bit here tonight. But also keeping an eye on that wind. It's a consistent double-digit wind here. I've seen it peaking out at like 13 miles an hour, which is not exactly a light wind. But either way, we are back to racing here at Richmond. Another good start here for the field, heading off into turn number 1. But you see already going 3 wide at the back of the pack. You can do it here. I mean, it's definitely wide enough going into the corner and even going through the corner, but Jimmy, coming out of these corners here at Richmond, especially off of turn number 2, it flattens out, it gets tight. It can be a bare single file just trying to get through that corner, let alone going double wide. God forbid you're 3 wide coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, 45 going around here on this one. I believe that was Gainey.
Look back here and looks like maybe just goosed that throttle a little bit too much coming out of the corner, and really nothing that Ryan Chronister could do on that one. Just kind of cut right across his nose. And that's going to bring us under another caution. And that was, I didn't really get done talking about turn number 2, but that's kind of what I was going to get to when it comes to turn number 4. So as I was saying, Jimmy, it gets tight off of turn number 2 because it gets flat, but then as it gets flat off of 4, it's almost the exact opposite. You try and get on that throttle, and that thing wants to step out.
Yeah, it's a dance. Yeah, it's a dance here tonight. Obviously, each track you go to, the corners, they might be the same shape, but they're different pitch. In the corner, coming out of the corner, different bankings, and to get used to those each and every week. So, unless you're on like the cookie cutter mile and a half, they seem to be like pretty close. Even those are a little bit different here. So, and that's all part about the oval racing, which makes it challenging, and why somebody can be fast and why some people are a lot slower. But another caution here to start this thing off, and we've seen this before, where you kind of get in there and you have your spots. But Carl, I mean, we're 9 laps in. I don't see many people choosing to come in unless they had some damage.
Yeah, some damage here and there. Looks like maybe Ricky Renner, I don't think he was involved in anything. He came into the pits. He's at the back now. Maybe just topping off on a little bit of fuel here. Yeah, exactly. I don't mind that at all there. I don't know how many positions he lost in doing so. It looks like he's down 10 from where he started, but definitely a little bit of fuel here if you're mid-pack, backpack. It doesn't hurt you too much. Just coming in topping off of fuel. Tires, it's not worth tires just yet. We're obviously only coming up on lap number 10 here. Even if they were 10 laps under green, I think it's still a little bit early to take that first set of tires, but it looks like most of the drivers still in the pits right now, just getting those repairs done.
So
yeah, but
unlimited tires.
Yeah, but to come in like if you're towards the front of the field and giving up a ton of track position, that just to get tires, I think it's a little bit too much this early. But we'll see him double up here. We'll get this thing back under green. Hopefully we get some green flag running here.
I guess we'll really see if Ricky did take tires, if he'll come up to the field, maybe just even right side tires, you know, just to give a little more grip or make it a little bit looser. So we'll see. But definitely ready to go back to racing here as they come around turn number 4 down the backstretch again. Matthew Seeger is in the lead at the moment with Aaron Edwards still both of them two occupying the front row. You got Forrest back there in row number 2 with Joey Cruz, Joe Sullivan up there tonight there, Jacob Reneker, Jacob Grew and Ethan Winters, and Chris Gilbert and Kyle Hunter make out your top 10. As far as people moving through the field, Michael Rakes up 4 spots right now, up in the P number 18.
Start again here from Edwards, just not able to clear Seeger and move up there. He'll tuck it down there to the bottom, and he'll be able to clear him off of turn number 2. You see Cruz trying to sneak in there on the inside of Seeger, but he's not going to be able to get the run off. He'll slide into 3rd. Forrest Minter in there in 4th place now, looking down below Joey Cruz, but no move just yet. You got Reneker making up the top 5. Winners, Sullivan, Grube, Gilbert, and Chrisman, your top 10 for the time being. And hopefully these drivers can just get a few laps in, get those tires a little bit warm, and you know, make them a little extra sticky to try and get those moves done, get those tires to bite coming off of these corners when you want to put that throttle down. But I mean, we've seen it in the LCQ. I know those are, you know, technically the cars that didn't make it on qualifying, so they may be the ones that are struggling maybe a little bit here at Richmond. But you see them getting loose. You see right there the 23 getting a little bit loose coming off the corner with Kyle Hunter as he's in a battle with the 54 of Jason Chrisman.
A lot of close racing still. A lot of the numbers are still in the red category as far as interval goes. So see, they're starting to file out just a little bit though, Carl.
Yeah, which is a good thing. You know, kind of get into that little bit of a groove. I know you want to try and move your way up there, and you got to be ready. If that car in front of you makes a little mistakes, drifts up the track a little bit, be ready to pounce. It's the ones that try and force the issue, try and send it in there and make that pass where they feel like they're better than that person in front of them. That's where you get a little bit sticky of the situation. But looks like for now, the driver is just kind of maybe settling into a little bit of a groove. Definitely some 2-wide battling through the field. I don't see any 3-wide, knock on wood just yet, but still some drivers, you know, working on getting that power down coming out of the corners.
Yeah, it's you know, it's you know, we did the race on was it Monday? One of the races, somebody's in a hotel, you know, using the borrowing some gear from Amazon, and I was going to send it back. You know, I just kind of, you know, but had to, like, you know, didn't have the proper rig, so like it was to the point where you had to take out the springs and stuff like that to make the stuff lighter, so you're not pushing the pedals across the floor. So, you know, not everybody has the same equipment, and you know, if you're still learning, it can be a little awkward. You know, you hit the brakes and there's no resistance there, or even the throttle if it's one of those you know, newer setups. You know, not that you can't race with them, but it's hard to modulate that throttle. It's either on or off, and a lot of times when Michael Rake's going sideways, people checking up, but and that's gonna bring out a yellow.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody
question. Yeah, I heard the tires screeching, and I seen Rake's sliding down the order, but it looks like Dalton Drummonds may have gotten involved in this one somehow as well. So we'll try and take a look back and see what exactly happened here. You see Rakes up there towards the top of your screen. He gets a little help there from Tyler Cronister going into the corner. Gets pretty sideways. A great save by him, really. Not sure what happened here to the 4 of Dalton Drummonds. It looks like just drives down. Maybe just cooling off the tires a little bit, going through the grass. Maybe the lawnmower, you know, just missed a spot. They wanted to clean up there, so we appreciate that from Drummonds. But yeah, it doesn't look like really damage to anyone on that one, but we will be under a caution. And yeah, like you said, Jimmy, a little bit busy in there. We do see Joe Sullivan staying out there, maybe just to lead a lap before he comes in. Ricky Renner, he came in for fuel on the last pit stop, so he stays out there. He's in second right now. We'll see if either of them come in on lap number 2. You see Jeremy Gainey getting his lap back to move himself back onto the lead lap. It gives us 27 back on the lead lap with Ryan Cronister down 7 laps. Orduna down 18, Bradshaw down 19. Not sure if we'll see them back out here in the field. Bradshaw still trying to get that meatball repair, but it looks like Sullivan and Renner deciding to stay out here. Most of the drivers in pit lane taking 4 fresh tires, but Jimmy, we still got 100 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, we're 22 laps in. I had some green flag runs. It's not a bad call. It's still 100 laps. You know, they're gonna have to stop again, and then I'm gonna guess that Ricky should be in a pretty decent spot. Tires are probably just warmed up now, and he'll be able to take off. Now, Joe, depending on how heavy he was on the tires, can find himself a little bit of a predicament. And obviously, we know how fast Aaron Edwards and Matthew Seeger are. And you know, they're not shy of putting the nose underneath you and scooting you up the track just a little bit when they can. So not that it's there's no dirty racing or nothing. It's just the way you have to get things done around here, and you got to make somebody feel uncomfortable. And you know, Ricky and Joe should be fine. I'd be a little more weary of depending on who was up there, but I think these two could handle it. And hopefully the others behind them, if they're that much better, can work their way around them safely here and keep this thing going back green here. We are on lap number 23 at the moment, and head down the backstretch, getting ready to go back to green.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so already, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. And certainly a thanks to simraces.com. And a special shout out to Kim's Cups and More as well for the sponsorship here for the season. As it's looks like we're going to get another caution lap here, as we did double them up, but maybe waiting for some of the drivers to catch back up to the field. I did see a couple, maybe some issues towards the back of the field, but looks like we'll just take one extra precaution lap, I guess you can call it, and get this thing back on. But it's Joe Sullivan, Ricky Renner, Aaron Edwards, Matthew Seeger, Jason Crispin, your top 5, Joey Cruz, Ethan Winters, Forrest Minter, Jacob Reniger, and Chris Gilbert for your top 10. Sullivan maybe getting a little bit of a reprieve since he is the control car here for this restart, so it'll help him hopefully get that power down. You see the 16 there of Matthew Seeger weaving back and forth, trying to get a little heat into those tires if he can to get this thing back underway. I'm sure he's going to try and go after Edwards as much as possible. But we get another orange and white car at the front. Orange, white, and black. That is Joe Sullivan, not a teammate, as far as I know, from the Sim Shop guys. He gets a great restart here. Edwards going to follow him directly into second place. Renner's going to do as much as he can on the outside, but he's going to get eaten up here 3 wide coming off of the corner. Seeger's going to clear. Crispin's down on the inside. And now up through the middle goes Ethan Winters, and I think they're going to survive all of that. That was definitely some chaos here at the start of this thing. Take you back through the field here and show you from Jacob Reniker. It is it's mighty busy here. I feel like, Jimmy, I know I just drove through Richmond a couple weekends ago on vacation. I feel like I'm back.
Yeah, I know what the traffic's like anywhere in that eastern side of Virginia for sure. Yeah, you know, I'm not going to want to say growing up, working and living in the Norfolk area, around where all the Navy ships are. We do have a car around sliding down the front stretch, and with no caution out for this one, and they're still green.
Yeah, Eric Martin trying to collect it here, still struggling here. I'm thinking he's got some damage on that car, or maybe just some angry tires. We're going to keep this thing green right now. And take it back up to the lead where Aaron Edwards has regained it. The lead didn't take him too long here. Seeger into second. Crispin doing a good job there up in third. Winters, Cruz, your top 5. Sullivan sliding back now in his 6th. Reniker, Minter, Gilbert, Grube for your top 10. Well, we have a quick second here. We'll take a look back and see what happened to Eric Martin. But it looks like kind of the same thing as earlier, just maybe a little bit. You see right there, a little bit too goosey on the throttle. Slides down. There's a little lawn maintenance. and then slowly gets it back going. But we'll get you back live because we do have another caution here. Looks like this one involving the 66 of Brett Hollis, as Jimmy, it looks like turn 4. And maybe do we blame that one on turn 3? I don't know. I was kind of between 3 and 4 on that one. But either way, it seems like that end of the track is the one biting these drivers right now.
Yeah, they're getting anxious, wanting to get out of the corner, getting into the throttle a little bit, and the car's just not quite settled. And you know, as that you come off that banking onto 4, you know, it flattens out. So, you know, the weight of the car is pushing that way, and you got to be almost fully forward and RPMs at the right spot to really kind of hammer into it or ease into the throttle. And if you get into it a little bit too hard or too aggressive, it's when you find the rear end kind of stepping out from you. But so just a single turn there, but it does bring out another caution here on lap number 30. So, yeah, a few cautions plaguing the beginning of this race so far, hoping things get turned around. Start let the cars stretch out just a little bit, because right now it's a dance with the pits. When do you go in? When you get tires? Because now you can see Sullivan's in, Rakes is in, Hollis, Gainey, all kind of taking advantage here. Ricky Renner's still staying up there. He has fallen all the way back to, where's he at?
Just outside the top 10 right now in 11th.
Oh, he's in 11th.
Yep. And Joe Sullivan electing to go in the pits and take his tires. And like you say, Jimmy, this could be one of those races that you have some cautions. I mean, we haven't seen, knock on wood, we haven't seen, like, you know, a wreck, if you want to consider it that, you know, here in the feature. It's been a lot of single cars just kind of losing it by themselves. I know we have a couple cars that needed some damage repaired after that first one, but all in all, it's been a lot of single car incidents here, but we have been under a few cautions, and it's going to really kind of mix up that pit strategy, and it's going to be exactly what you said. You got to make that last pit stop at the right time. You may be the fastest car out there. Aaron Edwards certainly seems like he's liking this little hometown cooking here tonight, and looking very good for his possible 4th win of the season, stretch out that points lead. But he makes a pit stop at the wrong time, gets buried back in that field. He can finish outside the top 10 very easily as well. So this is as much of a speed and you know, do well race as it is. Make sure you have the right strategy race as well. We'll get this thing back underway here this time as the pace car lights are back out. Aaron Edwards will be your control car again here from the front. You got Joey Cruz and Jason Chrisman trying to upset the racing order here at the front, as they're going to be restarting 3rd and 5th here on the inside. But Edwards will be the one that leads them down off into turn number 1.
Pace car is in. Aaron Edwards and Matthew Seeger ready to go. 15 down the inside, 16 to the outside. And don't forget about that 77 creeping up there, back there, up 7 spots. And also Jason Crispin, number 54, up 10 spots there in row number 2. But they're going to go 3 wide for Pete number 2 as they try to get that worked out there. Still 3 wide.
Leaning on each other a little bit. Oh, we got a big wreck now. I'll take this one on myself. This was call that right here, as we're going to have
all their meatballs too.
Plenty of cars involved in this one. I did see it looked like maybe around Jacob Grube getting turned sideways was kind of where this started. Looks like Hayes and Jance are going to walk away with a meatball on this one. We'll try and take a look back here and dissect this one a little bit, as it was definitely racy up front. It looks like Truskowski trying to go through the middle here and has his nose inside there, but it looks like Grube drifting up there, maybe not realizing they're 3 wide. And he looks straight across here. Renner, we just talked about him earlier, he gets involved in this one. And quite a few others getting involved here. As take a look back through the field, you see plenty of cars going all kinds of ways here, trying to avoid it. Some net code here and there, getting some more cars involved. You see Chris Hayes ends up eating the wall on the inside, and that right there, kind of via net code, maybe they would have made contact there, but it's a shame when you see a car get a meatball because of net code for sure. But a lot of cars involved in this one, a lot more coming down into pit lane, and it's going to shake up the order here quite a bit, because that happened probably just right at back half of the top 10 and took a lot of cars out in the process. But it's going to give a chance for, it looks like Ryan Cronister may have gotten a lap back here. It's back to 6 laps down, but quite a few drivers eating up in that one and trying to get back out there and beat the pace car just to stay on that lead lap.
Yeah, it's that was messy. And it's kind of, you know, obviously, I think bigger, more people involved. Obviously, just coming off a fresh caution just a few laps ago, and you know, Jansen picking up a meatball. So, and I know Arduna's still in the pits. Bradshaw decided to check out, but it's times like this, you know, give a shout to Terry Jansen for running the Heart of Core Award. Basically, you know, just continue to stay out there, and you know, even if you got damage, just hang around. You know, watch other drivers while your car's getting fixed to see what you can do better, and keep being out here each and every week, no matter what the cause is. And that's what he's been doing out there. So he has to go through that here for himself here tonight. I still have a bronze driver out there, and that's going to be Jeremy Gainey. So Jeremy Gainey right now, your top bronze driver, currently up NP number 16. As far as the platinum drivers, occupying the front there with Edward Seeger and Winners, along with Cruz. Chrisman mixing it up there for the gold drivers, and then Sullivan's back there in 13th. So we kind of a big difference. And then you have a couple silver drivers in there with Crockett and Reniker and Minner here. They should get groups here soon, I'm sure. But yeah, it's kind of mixed up here a little bit tonight, Carl. Biggest mover, though, is going to be that Brett Hollis machine, number 66. We've seen him have some troubles there in that Kmart machine. And currently sitting up there in the top 15, up 12 spots.
A little racy here at the front with some more 3-wide racing, Cruz, Chrisman, and Reniker, but it looks like it's going to settle down just a little bit as Chrisman still trying to work around that outside there, and going to hold on to the outside 4 now, so Cruz can't slide up there and take the optimal line into the corner. The battle here for 4th and 5th. Out front, Aaron Edwards leads the way. Seeger, Winners, your top 3, as Winners is up 8 spots after qualifying just outside the top 10 in 11th. As Jimmy mentioned, Brett Hollis right now, biggest mover of the race, up 11 spots, but a couple more drivers that joined him in the LCQ are right in front of him. Michael Rakes up 9 spots into 13th, and then the man that won the LCQ right there, Zane Bierman, is up 10 spots because we got another caution here on the front stretch. Looks like Joe Sullivan, Matt Crockett, just to name a couple of drivers I've seen involved in this one. So we'll take a look back here once more.
Cautions being cautions here tonight. Are we at Martinsville?
Easy. Well, this one again, it looked like maybe a little bit of goosed up throttle. We'll take a look at that here one more time. I can't tell if the 10 made contact with the 23 here on the eggs. He seemed driving pretty hard, and then when he tries to get on the gas, just gets a little bit loose. And I don't think Sullivan was ready for the 10 to get that loose. Gainey gets a piece of that on the way by, but he's able to survive that one. Or that could have been a lot worse, certainly, but. Back under caution, and we got some different pit strategies. We got Reniker, Hunter, Bierman, Martin, Gainey, Renner all in the pit lane here. And certainly none of them involved in this incident here. So switching up the pit strategy here a little bit early. And to be real interesting, I don't know, and I don't think that Jason Chrisman has taken a set of tires just yet. Not that it matters with the unlimited tires, but doing pretty well up there right now in 5th position. As you see Truskowski getting around there, he'll get back on the lead lap to give us 22.
Yeah, still 22 drivers up there on the lead lap, and see a couple other drivers in the back pit in their group. Crockett, Martin, Bierman back in there, Renner coming out there, but he's going to be 1 lap down now. So yeah, so Ricky going from leading now a lap down, just kind of getting tangled up in some of the pit stops, I believe. So He's got some work cut out for him, and the way it's going, he should be back there up there on the lead lap. Just got to keep his nose clean there, number 53. But yeah, Platinum drivers kind of up front dominating here, and I'm sure they're just kind of waiting to continue to race and wait for the drivers either to figure it out in the back or just to wreck out.
Well, we kind of talked about it last week, being out there at Sonoma, and I said, if you can keep that thing clean and, maybe finish the race with a 0, 1, or 2 X's, you could probably finish yourself with a top 10. Richmond is, I know it's an oval, but it's a short track, and it's not exactly the easiest one out there, and I don't want to say that, if you keep it clean, you'll finish with a top 10, but you'll probably finish with a pretty decent result. If you can find a way to avoid all the incidents here tonight, you'll finish up there, I think, pretty well in the running order. And honestly, if I'm middle of the pack, back of the pack, I'm probably coming in every single caution. I'm coming in, a brand new set of tires, getting some more fuel, and just kind of hanging out in the back until I feel like it's almost super speedway go time and start making your way up through the field. Because unless you have a really unmatched set of tires compared to everybody else, it's going to be tough to get up through the field cleanly, for sure. But either way, back to the restart zone, back to the loud pedal. We're racing here again at Richmond. Not quite at the halfway point, a little over a third of the way through this race. Plenty of racing yet to go. Edwards back to the front.
Yeah, the front of the field, all orange, white, and black. I need to click off Edwards as he blinked down on me there for a second. But they're running 1, 2, 3, and then Joey Cruz in 4th. So always Joey trying to get around those drivers, and he's got a steep hill to climb. I mean, those drivers up there are difficult, and they're quick. Not afraid to put the nose there and race you hard. So he doesn't have just one. He has a team of them that he needs to get around. So always wish Joey the best of luck out there, and he does his best and has had some pretty good finishes here this season so far. So we'll see if we can get another one in here tonight. He's currently running in the top 5. Jason Crispin at number 54, up 8 spots in 5th. So he's also making some moves. Michael Riggs, seen him back in that last chance qualifiers, but sitting up there in 7th. So kind of like I said, is the last chance qualifiers a benefit? Here and there, being able to get some time out there on the track as he finds that number 016 there in the top 10.
Well, Jimmy, it's something we talked about last night when we got out there on the track ourselves, and they mentioned 1 or 2 drivers deciding not to run the race last night because they didn't have the track, or they don't like the track, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, any track time is good track time, and it goes the same thing for the LCQ here. You get a couple extra laps, a couple extra looks at the track. I mean, when it comes to heat racing and things like that, you can set up the session to have a warm up before the feature. And sometimes if you're sitting out there through a few heat races, maybe some consolation races, things like that, you need kind of a refresher. Like, what was the line again? How do I need to take the throttle through these corners? Well, that's essentially what these drivers after qualifying got to do. They qualified in the top 20. They essentially got a 30-minute warm up for the feature race, and they got to see the track as close to racing conditions, as close to track temperature as possible, compared to those drivers that were just out there for practice and qualifying. They get to see it as the sun sets a little bit more, the track temperature changes, a little bit more rubber put down on the track, and maybe that's why you're seeing the likes of Rakes, Hollis, even Drummond's kind of working their way up through this field.
Yeah, I do. I think any time you can get extra time is a benefit. It's if a little bit of practice, on your off time. Sometimes the 30 minutes that they're giving here is not quite enough to kind of get warmed up. So you might find yourself out there, maybe not qualifying as much, and to run back there in the last chance qualifier, especially knowing that the whole field will make it. So that's not like something that will be detrimental to your race. And I think starting back in 20th is still a respectable start. And here, they've gone through some cautions. A lot of drivers mixed around here at the moment. So I see a lot of green in the top 14, and you know, it's a lot of orange down in the second half. So the drivers that were in and made it on qualifying find themselves behind a lot of those drivers. So, yeah, so far it's working out here for some of those that did partake in that last chance qualifier. Michael Rakes being one of them, up 15 spots. Brett Hollis even ended up 66. We've seen him have his troubles sitting in 11th. And Datelin Drummond's even back there in the he's in 13th. As Zayden Bierman now moves to P number 12. So again, here comes the last chance qualifiers. Can they make it up to the top 5? I guess we're going to need to find out, as we're now on lap 57 of 120 as Aaron Edwards leads over Matthew Seager.
Yeah, winners, Cruz, Chrisman, your top 5, then Gilbert Rakes, Hunter, Reneker, and Minter for your top 10. As a good battle here, back half of the top 10, side by side. Watching some of the battles back there, we've seen Eric Martin get a little bit sideways coming out of 2 as well, able to collect it before he caused any kind of more damage. So he's lost it out of 4, he's lost it out of 2, but he's kind of collected it both times, and that's really what you need to do. You need to be ready to collect it. You see it right there, big moment there for Brett Hollis as he's able to collect it. Going to lose a spot or 2, but Jimmy losing a spot or 2 is a heck of a lot better than losing the car altogether, because you never know what happens. I mean, best case scenario, you get sideways, you slide down to the inside, maybe you tap the wall, maybe you just go for a ride through the grass. But worst case scenario, you overcorrect, you snap to the right, and oh boy, here comes the freight train of everybody else coming at you, and you're just hoping somehow that all of them miss you. But more often than not, somebody's going to tag you and somebody's going to get damaged. But we are through the first half of this race. We are on lap number 60, about to complete that and start the second half of this race. So we're going to go ahead and step aside, crank it up here, and give it and Sierra Nation a little love to hear it.
Love to hear it.
Sights and sounds here of the Core O'Reilly Series presented by simraces.com, as we're now down to 40 laps remaining here at Richmond. Nice little run here from the boys, and we're starting to see some drivers come into the pits. See Jason Christer come in. Unfortunately, he picked up a black flag on the way in. Now we see Kyle Hunter into the pits. Quite a few of these drivers at the front, especially 5 out of the top 6 right now. Last pit on lap number 20. So unless they can make it 100 laps on fuel, we may be seeing some green flag pit stops here coming up very soon. I'm not sure. Maybe the drivers that came in, maybe they had some damage. Maybe that's why Hunter and Chrisman came in. But now we see Tyler Cronister dropping down into the pits with the number 29. And I mean, looking at the front of the car, looks pretty darn good from inside the cockpit there. Now we see Ethan Winters just keeping it inside the barrels coming in. Somehow he kept it off of there. That was definitely an aggressive entry. But Jimmy, we got some pit stops here on the green at Richmond.
Yeah, and it's a chance they take. They're going to go a lap. They might go a lap down depending on what's going on.
Maybe two.
Yeah, and it's always interesting, especially at this point of the race. Joey Cruz is now in the pits, and you know, the drivers had a lot of problems early on, and there was some cautions. And I'm not trying to say, hey, we want to see cautions, but this could leave it to some of those drivers kind of being out of it here. So, but pit stops happen. Cruz, Gilbert in. Edwards and Seeger still out. Reneker up there. Bierman up there, P number 4. So along with Drummonds and Rakes. And so those are the ones that you were watching here is, you know, they're starting to be out there. Reneker was in last at lap 43, Carl. So he got a few more laps to go here over these other drivers.
Yeah, I mean, if they're kind of stretching it to the limit here and coming in the pits, they're making it about, you know, maybe a little over 60 laps on fuel. So I don't know if the likes of, like, you know, Reneker and Bierman, if they could stretch it out an extra 20 laps, because that's basically what they're going to need here. Now we see Hollis dropping in from the top 5 into the pits. I mean, Edwards is still out there. He last pit on lap number 20. It's now 46 laps for Edwards, and now he finally comes into the pits. About 46, 47 is how far your leaders stretch it out. You add that on to you know what Reneker and Bierman are at. That puts them at about 100. So you're still going to have to try and find another 20 laps. I don't see it, but what I do see, Jimmy, is maybe some options to come in and maybe go 2 tires, maybe go a little bit less fuel than these other drivers. I mean, certainly they don't need as much fuel as the other drivers, but also you never know. If that dreaded caution comes out at some point here in the next few laps, they're going to be looking mighty good. Right now, it's Reneker still out there. He pit on lap number 43. So he's got plenty of time yet, another, you know, maybe 20 laps till he actually needs to come in. We'll take a look and bring up the pit stops. How about the pit lap? There we go.
Yeah, man.
There we go.
There you go.
And you see quite some time here. Maybe the next one that we see come in is Michael Rakes from second place. He last pit on lap number 30. See Reneker blinking out, I believe, yeah. And now Truskowski, he didn't need to come in just yet, but he decides to come in early and maybe try and stay on the same strategy as your leaders here and have some fresh tires to go to battle here. But you see right there, it comes out behind your leader 2 laps down as Reneker blinking out pretty bad there on the front stretch. So switch somebody else here, and it is going to be Rakes coming in at next from the front. Got to get it woed up there in time. Little smoke from the back of the 016. Does get it woed up to pit road speed and into pit lane to make what should be his final pit stop of the race. Maybe the next one we see come in is the 12 of Dave Tilford. He last pit on lap number 35, so maybe 5 more laps until we see the 12 come into the pits. But you see these cars with fresher tires, they're wanting to get by as quick as possible. Sullivan and Grube right behind the 12 right now, looking for a way around. Now almost maybe 3 wide. Yeah, 3 wide behind the 12 as Drummonds goes the inside, gets 2. Now he gets 3 coming off the corner. And I think 2 of them were for position. 1 was just get a lap back there on the 12. But big moves there from Dalton Drummonds, moving himself back up into 14th.
Jarvis trying to get some of those laps back and get back up there, as you see now. Zane Bierman in the 55 underneath the 12. Obviously, the newer tires working a lot better. And, Dave out there, I think, playing a little bit of a longer game, trying to stay out there. He was last in on lap 35. So we know that he's going to have to pit, Carl. It's just some of these other drivers that might be. And don't know, like you said, you don't know the pit range. I mean, we know the speed is massive of new tires, but do they have enough time? Does Joe Sullivan need fuel?
Hold that thought. We've got a caution, and it's involving two of our Sim Shop drivers, Winters and Seeger. We'll see what happened on this one. When you see all the cars a lap down right now, Seeger's going to pick up a meatball here to boot. We'll take a look and see what happened on this one. As they're behind Martin right there. Martin goes a little bit slow, a little bit of net code. Maybe all three of the drivers, including Joey Cruz, getting involved in that one. So our top four from earlier on in the race getting involved in a late race caution here. And that is 1,000% going to switch up this order. It's going to give a big, big benefit to all those drivers that were able to stay out.
Yeah, huge break for Jacob Reneker, Joe Sullivan, Dave Tilford, Matt Crockett, and look at Jeremy Gainey up there in the top 5 as well. So big move here for these drivers here. And, we talked about it. And, they're going to be able to, get in there, get service, get 4 fresh tires, and get back out there. And we'll see how everybody kind of stacks up here. Let's see what's going on here. So it looks like, I don't know what's going on with iRacing. Does have Joey Cruz up there back in the lead.
Yep, he is your leader. He decided to stay out there on the first time by, but now he's going to come into the pits. So we'll see what happens here for Cruz. There is some extra pace laps here at Richmond, so this isn't going to be a penalty for Cruz. He comes in on the next lap by. I thought he was going to stay out there and have 9-lap older tires, but he's going to come in here and try and get on the same page as everybody else. So that's going to move Reneker back to the front of this field. Joe Sullivan in second, Dave Tilford, Matt Crockett, Aaron Edwards for your top 5. Jimmy, we talked about it earlier. Edwards, clearly, the car to try and beat here tonight. He's the fastest one out there, but he got to have that last pit stop at the right time. And, man, he gets involved in an incident with a few of his teammates there. And it is going to get mighty interesting now because Edwards is back out there. He's got the same lap tires as everybody else. So, right now the top 5 on the same tires. Looks like Chris Gilbert back there in 7th. Going to stick it out there as he pit on lap number 83 for his tires. Joey Cruz now just comes in, gets himself a set of tires. A little bit longer of a pit stop. I think he had a little bit of damage maybe from clipping one of the cars on the way by. Is a little bit of a cluster trying to get this thing settled back up.
So rocking some damage on that front right too.
Yeah, we'll probably have an extra pace lap, I'm guessing, to get this thing situated. Because it looks like I think maybe Reneker having some connection issues again, but he is back out there. Reneker is going to be your control car. So we're going to double them up here, but we're going to have another pace lap till everyone, just a ton of cars getting waved around there to get back on the lead lap. And I don't know if we've seen our last caution of the night just yet, but, man, this definitely shook up the order big time. As the pace car lights are out, we're going to get this thing back underway. Just about 20 laps to go.
Yeah, I know some of them cars, obviously, that's running up front. Dave Tilford, Matt Crockett, both have right front damage, so maybe touching the wall coming out of the corner. Joe Sullivan's car looks in pretty good shape. Reneker is in good shape. And then you have Aaron Edwards back there in 5th, and Chris Gilbert back there in 6th. Joey Cruz is in 7th. So even though they were kind of involved, they're right back at it, still in the top 10, and so maybe some damage on them cars. So maybe throwing the advantage to some of the others out there. Eric Martin rounds out your top 10, up 7 spots. Biggest mover currently through all this, though, is at number 12 of Dave Tilford as we get back under green here. And already 15 going down to the inside of the 12 to make a move. Oh, hang on to her, Dave.
Nothing to see here. Just a nice little save there from the 12, but he's going to get sent in there by the 77 there as well, trying to move up and get himself up there to try and get a lap back. But we're going to have another caution here as this one
Cruz and Martin
is going to involve Cruz and Martin. Both of them going to walk away with a meatball on this one here as well. Not sure what was going on there with Cruz. Pretty slow, and then Martin just kind of drives into the back of him, gets a little help there from Gainey. Not sure why Cruz was going as slow as he was there on the backstretch. But
yeah, not quite sure why he's so far off pace.
I don't know if he got stuck in gear or what the case was, but that's going to bring us under another caution here. This will give a chance for a lot of those drivers that took the wave around to maybe come in here and get a pit stop completed. You see Rakes, Hollis, Truskowski in the pits. I think if you're at the back half of the lead lap here, Jimmy, even if you got some of the newer tires in the field, I'd come in and get another set and really try and send this thing at the end.
There are only 19 or 20 laps remaining here in this race, and it won't be much longer. It'll be finished up, so we'll get a chance to talk to your top drivers of the of each class. And right now, Edwards is in third, but he is leading the platinum. For your rookie, it's Renneker. I'm sure he's going to end up getting moved, probably the platinum when everything is said and done. Sullivan is your gold driver leader up in P number 2, and Matt Crockett is your silver leader in 5th, and then Jeremy Gainey in the top 10, the bronze, the remaining bronze driver, still out there, and this is going to be huge. I mean, if he could finish in the top 10 here tonight, that's Point City there.
Change his name to Jeremy Gainer, because he's definitely going to be gaining a ton on the rest of the bronze field tonight. But I'm wondering one thing here, Jimmy. You see the the sim shop design on that number 20, and it was talked about before from some of the other boys here at the front that Renneker is part of the team, but kind of the junior team, or one of the rookies on the team, just kind of learning the ropes here. Typically, you see teammates, if they're lining up, kind of back to back from each other. Like you'll see the 20 and the 15 line up here, both on the inside. Typically, that leader, if he's a control car, he'll count it down. He'll call out when he's going to go, and try and help that guy behind him. Do you do that if you're Renneker, knowing that it's Edwards behind you, knowing that he's leading the point standings for a reason? He's obviously good. Yeah, I'm sure you know how good he is on your team. Do you dare give him the advantage, or do you just say, sorry, buddy, I got to take my advantage when I have a chance?
It's
team dynamics.
The sim shop drivers, we haven't seen them kind of hold back or let each other have like a clear advantage. Like, all right, Edwards needs to get around Renneker. That's not going to happen. They're going to race it out just like any other driver out there. The fact that maybe they practice or they talk, outside of a race, but during a race, these drivers they got the elbows out and they race each other just as hard as anybody else on the track, which is one of the things that I love about them kind of coming out here and showing their colors here, and just they're fast and they race hard, and they're not afraid to put it out there. But Joe Sullivan getting a little loose there. He's going to push Edwards down to the inside, and he does get around him. But right there on the back bumper of Joe Sullivan is Dave Tilford. So 2 gold drivers battle out, and Sullivan continues to have issues with that one trying to get on that throttle.
Yeah, and he's got the same lap tires as everybody else at the front here. Everybody coming in, or most of them coming in on lap number 94 to get some fresh tires. See some smoke on the front stretch, but I don't see anybody around. Maybe just a little bit of sliding on the front stretch.
Maybe somebody in the pit.
Or maybe somebody in the pits still blowing up on the inside. But we are cranking down these laps here pretty quick. The sun's still setting, but the sun is not fully set on this track or this race, as we are down to 14 laps to go here at Richmond. So plenty of time to get some last-minute moves done. And maybe the caution is not done just yet either. And certainly right on cue, we are going to have a caution, trying to see where exactly it is. I mean, I don't see anything in particular. Do you see anything on your side there, Jimmy? I mean, I see everybody running. All I see is a yellow flag. I don't see why. So I guess we'll take it back here. I see Ricky Renner coming into the pits. Maybe it happened back here with the 53. Oh, there it is, the 23. of Hunter getting loose on this one. So let's go ahead and see what exactly happened here. If he was fighting it off a turn number 4. Oh, he's 3 wide there with Chronister, and tries to save it down the front stretch. Unfortunately, could not do so. And it's going to bring out a late race caution here as they were 3 wide, getting mighty aggressive there. And now it'll get interesting because now the teammates are on the front row together. And again, do you dare call it out? Do you help your teammate? But I don't know if I really want to call out this man. He took the week off last week, Jimmy. He just kind of, like you talked about, getting that little reset. This man needed a reset. He's not exactly had the season that he's wanted, dreamed of for sure. But good to see that he's still out there. The car is still running this late in the race. I almost feel like he had a little bit of that Hemi Gardini type of season going on here so far. But he's up there. He's in the top 10 as well. And now back on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, you need that reset every now and then. You do something so often, and it's nice just to take just a little bit of a break. Everybody's human, and sometimes you just, even if you enjoy something so much, you can almost get too much of it, and you find yourself kind of in a little bit of a funk, trying to find your group, especially when you're a driver, you know, out here and trying to make your way. And if you're in a kind of a rut, you know, and you're kind of seem to be involved in everything, sometimes it's just easier to step away for, you know, a race or two and then come back and put it back out there. Right now, he's gonna, you know, he's out sitting there in P number 15. He's gained 3 spots, so maybe not the race he wanted, but still doing a lot better than, you know, maybe what he has. 21 kind of, we haven't talked about him, obviously, so not involved in anything. So just kind of out there, maybe just taking a new angle on how to approach these races. And sometimes, you know, if whatever you're doing, if each week you're wrecking and you're involved in something, you're either around somebody that's, you know, causing, I won't say causing issue, but just as bad tendencies, and you're right next to them, you know, now you just need to kind of recognize that. So either, you know, if you can't get around them, just back it up, race your own race, be safe, keep the car clean. And it looks like that's what Weston's done here tonight, being able to kind of stay mid-pack. And there's a lot of talent out here, but we're going to go back on the green. Jacob Renneker leads the way with Aaron Edwards behind him. So getting that start there, Joe Sullivan moves back there with Dave Tilford on the outside. And I see smoke, and that's Datelin Drummond's. Looks like Hake, and another big one here. It does look like about 5 more. Jeremy Gainey getting involved here. And then Josh Van Weston. Oh, my goodness.
Take a look at it to see what's happening right in front here.
Oh, my goodness.
And fortunately, I think we're catching kind of the back end of this here, so I'll try and watch this thing again as there we go. And to turn number 1. Looks like Drummonds gets into the back of Winters, kind of backs him up into Rakes. They both go spinning sideways. Kyle Hunter just involved in the last incident, probably just braking, trying to stay out of this one. And luckily gets around inside of Tyler Chronister. But you see the 54. Chrisman goes through Michael Rakes, so definitely need to check on the driver of the 016. Van Weston, he was involved, kind of. I mean, you want to talk about tiptoeing around. I mean, that's how you tiptoe around an incident right there. He got up close and personal. Maybe he was checking on Rakes to make sure he was still alive after Chrisman drove literally through him on that one. But that is going to bring out a late race caution. We're not at green white checkers yet, but we're getting close to it. We may have an unofficial one here, and I'm sure this is music to Renneker's ears here. He doesn't mind staying in front right now, keeping Edwards behind. Edwards got a good restart on that last one, was able to clear Sullivan for second place, heading into 1, but the cars start to thin out here a little bit, and I know I haven't had a chance to really communicate with everyone out there in Sierra Nation. I know it's been mighty talkative, so I'd love to see it out there. Obviously, I see Mike out there, Giant Toes, and TV racer. I think it's Stephen Harris, maybe taking the week off this week. But yeah, it's been mighty racy year at Richmond. Had a nice little run there in the middle of the race, and you get any kind of a nice little run like that at Richmond, I think it's a bonus. I expected the what we're seeing kind of here at the other bookends of the race, a little bit racy to say the least. But as it stands right now, we got Renneker, Edwards, Sullivan, Tilford, Gilbert for your top 5. Crockett, Minter, Truskowski, Hollis, and Winters for your top 10. A lot of drivers right now in that top 10. Kind of just, they need this race. They need a good top 10 finish here. I mean, you can say that for Chris Gilbert. Matt Crockett would love to get himself up there in the top 10 for a finish. Truskowski, I feel like, is another one, too, that it's been a while since we've seen that 59 up there in the top 10 and doing well. So we'll see how this thing finishes out. We'll see if our LCQ winner, Zane Bierman, can sneak up there into the top 10 for this finish. But right now, it's time to double them up, get them ready to go back to green flag racing. It's going to be 4 laps to go here. So one more caution will put us into that green-white checkered situation. Renneker down and away. Racing here again at Richmond. You still see the smoke coming off from the pit road there. But Renneker is leading him off onto the backstretch. A little brush of the wall from a couple of the drivers. Still bouncing off there a little bit, but we're going to keep it going here into turn number 3. Edwards washes up here a little bit, gives Sullivan a chance to reel him in here a little bit as we go across the line. 3 laps to go.
Yeah, big pile of cars, 3 wide there with Dave Tilford on the outside. The 77, we're trying to work his way through, but 66 gets out of control, goes sideways. The caution's going to fly here.
And there's Bierman getting involved. Yeah, we'll take a look at that here again. Not sure if Hollis got some help coming off the corner there or not. As you see it, really tight racing right there, and I don't know if he necessarily got help, if it was too much throttle off there, or maybe the 77 being that close kind of just took the air off the 66 on that one. But he goes sideways. The 55, I think, went to go down to the bottom, thinking that he's gonna maybe stay up the track or shoot back up the track, but unfortunately he does not. He ends up going down towards the bottom, and right here, this smack right there does quite a bit of damage, even though it was a little bit of kind of a netcode explosion there on the 55. But that is going to be a meatball for the 66, and certainly going to be some damage for the 55 here as well. But it looks like he's going to stay out there, keep trucking along, because we're down into green-white checker territory now, Jimmy. And these drivers, I believe they only have one attempt here for green-white checkered. So this is going to be...
Yeah.
Check here. I'm sorry, 2 green-white checkered attempts. So,
Yep.
2 chances here to get this thing done. So maybe not the last caution that we've seen here tonight. Maybe we'll see one more before we get this thing done. But right now, Renneker, he just wants to try and keep this thing up front as long as possible. I don't think the extra laps here will do too much. I don't think anybody was that close on fuel. Looking around here, looks like lap 83 is the longest, or actually lap 82 for Forrest Minter is the most laps on fuel here for some of these drivers, unless they kind of short fueled the car. That I don't know. But we're going to be going into overtime here at Richmond. 120 wasn't enough. Probably looking at least right now at around 125. Renneker, Edwards, Sullivan, Gilbert, and Crockett. Now your top 5. Minter, Winters, Tilford, Truskowski, and man that I don't want to name right now in the top 10. Jimmy mentioned his name, so if something happens, it's Jimmy's fault. It's not my fault.
Well, I'm good at taking fault.
Pace
car lights should be out this time by, and indeed they are. It is green-white checkered time here at Richmond. Time to decide who is going to win this thing. Will we see Renneker get through, get another win for the Sim Shop boys, but get his first win on the season and in his core career? Will we see Edwards get his 4th win on the season and crack through? Will we see Joe Sullivan get up there and maybe steal himself a win here tonight and really put a good run in here for the gold and try and get himself back into the mix of things. We see Chris Gilbert get up there and get a win. He's certainly a platinum driver for a reason, but we haven't seen him crack through just yet. Pace car's in. It's time to get this thing going here one more time as we're racing again here at Richmond. A great start here from Renneker and from Sullivan, as Sullivan not giving any room to Edwards into turn number 1. Side by side, bumping a little bit. Short track racing at its finest. The 77 winners, don't count him out just yet. He's all over the backside of Sullivan. Dives him down into turn number 3. Going to get into him. And I don't know if they're going to survive that one. No, we're going to have some cautions out of the back of the field, but it is white flag. 1 lap to go. Heading on to the backstretch. Edwards all over the backside of winners, or I'm sorry, of Renneker, but he gets loose out of 2. 1 last shot into 3 and 4. Not going to happen. Jacob Renneker getting through to get his first win of the season. Edwards did everything he could to try and win it for the hometown folks. Not going to happen. He's going to come home in 3rd. Winners going to come home in 3rd. Gilbert and how about Michael Rakes? Top 5, Jimmy from the LCQ. Definitely got quite racy there at the end. Matt Crockett comes home in 6th. Minter, Truskowski, Hunter, and Bierman for your top 10, as that was mighty racy there at the end. We'll take a look here again from the white flag on. And you see right here the first incident as Winners dives it in there, gets into the 1 of Sullivan. And somehow Sullivan saves it. He's going to lose a bunch of time. I seen LePan get a little loose and get sent into the wall up there as well. And then I think there was some more incidents that happened a little bit later on here in the lap. You see right there, 3 wide. Somehow they keep it off each other. Might have been coming to the green, as you see Grube leaning on Van Westen, leaning on Tilford. Coming out of the final corner, Bierman gets sideways, and no, I don't see anything right there. Looks like, Rakes maybe just happy, maybe just celebrating. We'll have to see the end here for Rakes and see what exactly happened here for the 016, as he was racing hard with the 325 here on the backstretch. And he's able to get past Minter and drive it hard out of the corner to get past Crockett right there, who tries to come down there and gets into him coming to the line. But heck of a finish here as we take you back live. Renneker is your winner here tonight. Fantastic run by him and all the field. As Jimmy, why don't you give us a final rundown of tonight's running order, and I'll get these drivers up here for their interviews.
As everybody is getting ready for their interviews, the race results for the feature is going to be winner here tonight. It's going to be Jacob Renneker over Aaron Edwards. Then Ethan Winners, will finish in, wait a minute. Yeah, and 3rd. And then you have Chris Gilbert, Michael Rakes for your top 5. P number 6 is going to go to Matt Crockett. And then P7, Forrest Minter. 8th is going to be Joseph Truskowski. 9th will be Kyle Hunter with a good finish there. And 10th is going to be Zane Bierman. So he gained a lot of spots here tonight going from the last chance qualifier. And 11th is going to be Josh Van Westen. 12th, Dave Tilford. 13th, Datelin Drummonds. Joe Sullivan finishes back in 14th. 15th is going to be Tyler Chronister. And then 16th, Jacob Grube. 17th, Jason Crispin. Jason LaPon back in 18th. 19th, Brett Hollis. 20th is going to be Jeremy Gainey. 21st, Joey Cruz. 22nd, Eric Martin. Matthew Seeger back there in 23rd. 24th, Ricky Renner. 25th, Dylan Huso. Ryan Chronister back there in 26th. 27th, Terry Jansen. Chris Hayes back in 28th. 29th is going to be Luis Orduna, and then Richie Bradshaw finishing in 30th. So some great runs there. You can still see Jeremy Gainey finishing in 20th. This will win for your bronze drivers. Jacob Renneker, obviously still a rookie, but winning overall here tonight. Then Aaron Edwards is going to be your platinum. Your gold is Michael Rakes, and silver will be Matt Crockett. And you have Grube as gold?
Yes, Grube as gold, yep.
I thought Rakes was gold too.
Rakes has gold. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with the with the SDK here. It's all kinds of mixed up here, so I'm gonna try and take it to the
Did Drake's
end
get
here.
DQ? Where does he at? What happened?
Now, because it has Edwards at the front, it's SDK is all kinds of jacked up right now.
Oh.
But I know who
Okay.
finished where. So regardless of what happened here, we're gonna go ahead and get our top finishers out here tonight. And let's rewind this back to when we had some nice green flag racing for sure. And there we go. All right, so we will first talk to our winner here tonight, and that is going to be the 20 of Jacob Renneker. Jacob, you finally cracked through, get your first win here in Core. You had to fight your teammates to do it, especially Aaron Edwards, trying to win it for the hometown fans here tonight. But you said, no. This is my time here. I played the pit strategies the right way. I got to ask you, though, I kind of was talking to Jimmy about it with just a few laps remaining in this race. I know a lot of times teammates, if they're kind of lined up behind each other, they'll call out or they'll count down the start of the race to try and help their teammates out. Were you doing that knowing that it's Aaron Edwards behind you trying to help him out?
I was not. Trust me, Aaron is the best guy I've ever raced against at Richmond. I was definitely not going to give him any favors by telling him when I was going. So.
Well, it was a heck of a race between you two and even Joe Sullivan up there in the mix as well. I gotta imagine you weren't exactly disappointed with a few cautions here at the end to kind of help you out.
Yeah, definitely not. I had kind of on a wonky strategy there, ran it long, and I just trying to get myself track position. I definitely did not have the fastest car, but just tried to play the strategy and get up front, and it worked out. I'm not quite sure what was happening in the back there, but it obviously benefited me, so I'll take it.
Well, it's got to feel damn good to get up here and finally crack through and get your first win of the season and doing it right in front of the hometown favorite there of Aaron Edwards. So congrats on the win here tonight. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, I want to thank my teammates, especially Aaron. He gave me a lot of pointers this week in terms of the track. This is his home track, so I want to thank him. And then shout out to the sponsors, Sim Shop, Sud Speed, Sim Racing Setups. Couldn't do this without them. So, yeah, just a good race at Richmond. Finally glad to win, and should be a good rest of the season. Looking forward to battling them for the rest of the season.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats again on the win here tonight. Definitely celebrate it. Excuse me. And we'll see you next week and see if you can maybe keep it going up there and keep this good momentum going.
Appreciate it.
That's your winner here tonight. The 20 of Jacob Renneker getting it done here at Richmond. Second place, and the man that certainly wanted to win here and was sideways trying to do it is going to be your second place finisher, top platinum driver, 15 of Aaron Edwards.
Hey, Aaron, Jimmy and Carl from the Boots Cappy.
Yeah, so close.
So close, but so far away, right? Only good for hand grenades and bowling or something like that.
Horseshoes.
Horseshoes, there you go. But you walk away in second place, and obviously the top platinum driver. So we're talking to you here tonight. Qualified on a pole, and we're up front pretty much all evening. Then you guys the team got tangled with each other there towards the end of the race. So give us a little walk down, I guess, of your race and how you guys were able to overcome that little mistake.
Yeah, fastest car, led pretty much every lap of the first start of the run. Came in pit road, finally got through all the initial cautions. I don't know, we're wrecking for 20th, and then I don't know, we finally get a green flag cycle, and we actually, if that goes green to the end there, without whatever happened with that lap car, I haven't watched it yet. I have no idea. I think maybe Ethan could have made a mistake. I don't know. But I've been racing with Ethan a long time. I don't think he makes a whole lot of mistakes. But if that had gone green to the end there, I think we would have had a really good shot at it. It also would have been an incredible finish because we were inverted positions on speed probably, or at least on track position with how we come in on that pit stop, but on different tires as well. That would have been really, really cool to see if we could slice back up through there with like 30 laps to go to the end. But we didn't get to see that. We got to see a bunch of green, white checkers and just the way that the car is. It's your speed doesn't really seem to matter on fresh tires. Everyone's running about the same speed, all within about a half of a tenth to a tenth of each other. So it's hard to pass at a track like this where positioning, where you place the car on the racetrack, according to other cars is really important at Richmond, especially on the short run. So honestly, Jake, proud of the kid. He executed everything perfectly, and I'm just proud of the team. Great on him. He played the right calls there at the end, and I don't know. We'll get him next week.
Definitely somebody out there to contend with, even though you guys are pseudo partner teammates out there. So it's good to see you guys putting the elbows out and racing hard. So as always, I really appreciate getting a chance to talk to you. I want to recognize your finish here tonight and give you some time for any shouts you might have in at number 15.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny. I just we do my best to race everybody clean. I wasn't gonna hurt. Jay ran there at the end, and he was talking about how he's like, please don't, get in my liver, please race me clean. And I'm just like, dude, do you not know who you're talking to? Like 4.99 safety, never touched a soul in my life kind of driver. Like if I'm getting into you, it's probably on purpose. And it's just, but that was cool. I'm proud of him. So thanks all you guys for coming out. Delt Sport, obviously the whole team, and Sim Shop, Sim Racing Setups, Sud Speed. Thanks y'all for putting this on. I don't know. We'll see y'all next week. Hopefully we get a few less overtime finishes.
Definitely look forward to it, and hopefully the same thing. Like seeing things go green start to finish myself, but it was a decent one here tonight. And again, congratulations on your finish. Thanks for the shouts, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Yeah, thank you.
That is your second place finisher here tonight. Top spot in the platinum. Stretching out his points lead a little bit. The 15 of Aaron Edwards. Top spot in the gold division. I got to find him now because SDK just, kind of getting all wonky on me. But I found him. It's the 016 of Michael Rakes. Michael, it's certainly an up and down night, not just race, because you got to fight your way through the LCQ, even though you're all going to make it from the LCQ. But either way, you got some extra laps in there, and I guess kind of that's maybe where the first question lies. Me and Jimmy talked about a little bit extra lap time, track time out there before the feature race. Not necessarily a bad thing to have.
No, definitely not. I mean, it definitely helped to start the race, but then towards the end, it's just it's so much rubber gets laid down at Richmond. It's still much different, there's a lot of change in the racetrack.
Well, it was certainly a change on that final turn, final lap, as you went in there and picked up 2 spots as you got past both Minter and just barely got past Crockett there at the end to get yourself a top 5. How did that feel?
It felt great. That was an insane last restart there. Went from 14th to 5th in those 2 laps. Just with the chaos that was happening down low, I figured my best hope was just to rip the wall and hope for the best.
Well, it worked out pretty nicely here for sure, and you get yourself up here with a top 5, top spot in the gold as well. And never know how the points kind of finish out here at the end. It's certainly been a little bit up and down all season, but we still got a couple races to go to determine everything. But either way, congrats on the top 5. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I want to thank Kim's Cups and More for hopping on board this season. I want to thank y'all for broadcasting. It's y'all is what makes this possible. So yeah, we appreciate y'all putting it on.
I appreciate that, buddy. We'll let you go celebrate this, and we'll see you next week. See if you can keep this good run going.
Yep, see ya.
That is Michael Rakes, driver of the 016, finishing top 5, top spot in the gold here tonight. Top spot in the silver is going to go to the 10 of Matt Crockett.
Hey, Matt, Jimmy and Carl, open the booth to copy.
Yes, sirs.
You got a chance to get that number 10 out to the front here this evening and finishing, obviously, in the top silver spot. You're up there in the top 5 a little bit there towards the end as the cautions fell for having yourself in the right position. But, obviously, the race is always interesting at different periods. Obviously, in the beginning, some cautions. But your decisions here made a great allowed you to gain 9 spots here tonight, up and finishing in 6th overall. Winner is silver. But give us a little rundown of your race and your perspective.
Honestly, I was having issues with the car, keeping it on the bottom, everything like that, and I was just having big time issues, and it just cautions fell when they fell, and I had to get had enough fuel to last a little bit and everything like that. So while everybody else was in their pit cycle, and because I pitted just on the last caution, and yeah.
Well, you get it done here tonight, getting the position that you need for the silver group and getting that win. So we wanted to say congratulations, man. Recognize that you did a great drive here tonight, and then yeah, give you some time for any shots you might have at number 10.
Yeah, definitely want to shout out my family. Thank you for everything they let me do. Want to Liquid Death, thank you, Ford. Everybody for letting me run this car, and honestly, it was just luck of the draw and surviving those last few cautions and everything like that, and trying not to get killed, and luckily survived. And appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Appreciate the shouts as always. Again, congratulations, and go celebrate with that friend or with your friends and family.
Is the top silver driver here tonight, the 10 of Matt Crockett, coming home in 6th position. Looks like we're not going to have Jeremy Gainey, top bronze driver here tonight, but he did finish up there. I want to say around 22nd position. I know he fell back there towards the end, unfortunately.
20th.
Yeah, there we go. 20th, perfect. But I was certainly ahead of all the other bronze drivers who definitely had some tough luck out there, some meatballs to finish this thing out. But all in all, it's short track, and these kind of things tend to happen, unfortunately. But we did have a good little green flag run there in the middle of the race, and even got to see almost a full pit cycle of green flag pit stops. And I think had everybody been on the same strategy, we would have. It was probably about 15, 20 laps from the first person coming into the pits till we finally had that caution. It's just there's a lot of cars out there that pit 20, 30 laps after the initial people came in. So they were the ones to benefit and found themselves up at the front towards the end. But either way, we will leave Richmond now and head to Daytona for the penultimate race coming up next week on September 1st. We got Daytona, we got a week off, and then we got the season finale at Auto Club Speedway. So looking forward to that one. Before we get out of here, I want to thank everyone out there in Sierra Nation here once again. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We got some racing coming up tomorrow with the CSRL and Pit Road Speed Limit Racing doubleheader. And then on Thursday, you won't have me and Jimmy, but you'll have John out there for the Core GT Series. So for myself and Jimmy from the Richmond Raceway, we'll see you at the track.